Hi, and welcome to my build guide for my Cyclone character I've been playing in the Devil League. This build has done fantastic for me. It has got me to 300 depth level. It has done every tier 16 boss. It has done Shaper. It has done 2 of the Val bosses currently in the depths. And I've done the 270 levels, so they're very hard. I did the Abyssal City boss, the Val City boss, and the one I need to do still is the Primeval Ruin boss. I have not gotten the ability to do that one yet, so I'm still working on that one. But without further ado, let's go and show you what the gameplay looks like and what you can expect from playing this build in the Delve League or the future possibly. Okay, we're in a game now, and before I show you what the gameplay looks like, I want to show you the map I'm doing. This is something I haven't been doing, and I feel like this is probably a great idea. So the map we'll be doing for this showcase is a tier 15 shaped bog with a 8 mog roll prefix on it. So it's not prefix, affixes. It's basically just 8 mogs in the Val Orb. They're decently hard mogs, not too bad, but it should be a bit of a challenge for the build, and it will give you an idea of what the build can do. There is only 2 mogs this build can't do, and that is Physical Reflect. You can't do Physical Reflect at all because it's a pure Physical Cyclone build. And you can do this one, but it's be very challenging, and it's basically just a pain in the ass to do it, so I consider it undoable. That is no leech. Having no leech makes it so you have no mana regen, or not no mana regen, no mana regain from your hits, and you also can't get life. So it's just a pain in the ass trying to deal with that, and yeah, I recommend to just re-roll it or buy a new map if you can't do that. So without further ado, let's show you the gameplay.
Over here, Exile.
I will also be breaking the Rose Nest to make the boss even harder. Let's just show you the true potential of the build. Putting in Conk Effect now though, so the boss will die quicker. There we go. That was the hardest boss could be. That also has boss damage increased mogs on it, so that is a pretty good showcase of what that looks like. Now that you've seen the gameplay, let's show you the gear, the passive tree, and the gems. For our main weapon, we use the Starforge. Starforge is an amazing item, and if you can't afford a Starforge, which you probably can't if you're doing a League Star, I definitely could not at the very start of the League, I used a Kondo's Pride. Kondo's Pride is a great item. It'll carry you about until tier 15 maps, so it'll give you time to farm a Starforge out and make use of it. Starforge is only about 2 to 3 exalts now. It's not bad, and yeah, you can definitely farm out in a few days or so if you're just playing a few hours every day. If you are at endgame, you do like 2 or 3 hours a day, you'll have this thing in no time. Devote's Devotion, another great item. It is amazing for Cyclone. Don't really need to say much else about it. It gives you attack speed, it gives you movement speed. It's just really good. For our unique amulet, we use a Carnage Heart. This is great because it makes your life leech per second go increased, so it makes it life leech way better for non-Slayer builds. And we're playing a Ranger Raider, so it is far better to use this. Also gives you some nice damage increase, so great stuff. And for our chest plate, we use a Carcass Jack. Carcass Jack is an amazing chest plate. It gives you life, gives you area effect damage, and also increases your area effect. All great things for a Cyclone build. Highly recommend it. For our rings, we just use some pretty basic rings here. We just use life, res rings, pretty simple. Same thing in this ring, life, intelligence, and stats. That's about it. Just life, res, and intelligence. For our gloves, we use a Tomb Fist. Tomb Fist is a great item for any melee build. This will apply Intimidate on them. Intimidate is a great uh, debuff for the enemies. It gives you, I think, plus 15% increased damage. It is amazing. And I curse these things with Enfeeble on them. You don't need to do that. You can get them this raw Tomb Fist and it'll be amazing still. This is all just quality of life stuff and improvements that are substantial increases in money. Don't worry about that. For a belt, we just use a rare leather belt. We just want life. A lot of life in this belt. You want to try and get as much life as possible, and then any res that you need. And for our boots, we just use high movement speed. So you want to go, for priority on the boots, you just want to go movement speed, life, res. That's how you should do it. Movement speed is key. You definitely want to get a ton of movement speed on your boots. It is so good for Cyclone. And for the enchantment on this is actually kind of a critical part of the build. You need 10% chance to shock. I've still not gotten this. I've gotten very unlucky with the Labyrinth, but you need 10% chance to shock for the Starforge to proc the shock ability. It is a very substantial DPS increase, and it is unlucky that I have not gotten it yet. So you need that. It's helpful. If you can't get it, then don't worry about it, but you should try and get it eventually. It's very good. And for our flask, we just use Eternal Life Flask with increased recovery rate, a Shade Flask, a Quicksilver Flask, a Lion's Roar, very good item for the build. More physical damage is always great, and a Basalt Flask. Now, let's talk about gem links. Okay, for our gem links, we use Ancestral Warsheath for our weapon, damage and full life, Brutality, Ruthless, Bloodlust, and melee physical damage. If you don't have a 6 link, you just use like basically Warsheath, melee fizz, Bloodlust, and like maybe Brutality for a 4 link. You don't really need to have it on a 6 link. It's just I had a lot of money that was left over, and I wanted to just make the build as best as possible, so I put on a 6 link. For our devotees, we use Herald of Purity, Vulnerability, Blasphemy, and Grace. You don't use the Grace Ura as a Ura itself, you use the Val Grace, so you just get a little increased dodge chance. The Uras you use though are Herald of Purity and Vulnerability. For our main chest plate, we use Damage and Full Life, Maim, Brutality, Melee Physical Damage Support, Conk Effect, and Cyclone. For our gloves, we use Leap Slam, Summon Flame Golem, Faster Attacks. And for the jewel, we just use a basic life and damage jewel. So just damage and life. This is still not that great. I can probably improve it, but you get the idea. For our boots, we use Cast and Damage Taken, Immortal Call, Increased Duration, and Phase Run. Phase Run is a great skill for Cyclone because it makes it faster, of course. But you also get increased damage when you, for like a 2-second buff, I think, or something like that. It's pretty great. So yeah, Phase Run, very good. But that is about it for gear. So now, let's look at our passive tree. So we're playing a Raider Ranger. So for Raider, we go Weighted Poacher first, Rapid Assault second, Avatar of the Chase third, and for our fourth one, we use Avatar of Slaughter. This is all great damage increases, and that's about it. It's damage and speed, which is amazing for Cyclone, and it's very fun to play it. And I'm not going to go in depth on the leveling skill trees, because I have that all in the written guide. The written guide has all the leveling skill trees, the optimal routes of 2 to take for leveling, your early endgame progression, all that kind of stuff that is far better worded than I can put into a video, because it would take way too long. It's all down the written guide, so there you go. But I will show you the outline of the build. We use some damage jewels, but that give us life as well. More damage. Essence Sap is an amazing little keynote here. Very good stuff. Gives you a lot of mana leech. That's life, Val Pact. A lot of the critical stuff you'll usually find in your Cyclone builds. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Just basically trying to get over to the Marauder skill tree as fast as possible for that Wrestle technique. Wrestle technique is so good for Cyclone. But yeah, that's about it. And for Pantheons, we use Solanaris and Gruthkul for our mapping clearing. Now, if you're going to be doing bossing, like let's say you're doing Guardians or Shaper, you could put on Soul Gruthkul and Soul of Solaris. Solaris and Gruthkul are for bossing, Soul of Lunaris and Gruthkul for map clearing. Now, if you're doing Uber Lab and you just are like farming lab out for a while, which this build can do easily, I've done it many of times. You can do, where is it? Soul of Rislatha and Soul of Solaris, if you're doing Uberlab. And you can be doing that this free for the life flask gain charges, so if you get caught into like between 2 traps and you have no life flask and you're low on health, you can just sit there for like maybe 20 seconds and get a flash charge and keep going through the Uberlab. But yeah. But that is it for the build guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can put them below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I also have the written guide down there, so if you have any concerns or questions, you can probably find them below on the written guide. It has leveling skill trees, passive trees, and game skill trees, updated gear that might be getting changed from the video, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I also have a Twitch channel where you can follow me and see my content when I go live, and also ask questions while I'm on air, so I can answer you like in a second, that kind of stuff. I have a Discord where you can also get the same kind of feedback instantly, because me and my mods, we all know the build pretty well. We're all pretty knowledgeable about PoE, so we all can answer questions even if they're not about the build. And you can also hang out with people who follow my YouTube or my Twitch channel. So yeah. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. Have a great day, and peace.